Hey, I'm here for the EMS training video.
Name?
Brad Anderson.
You're not on the list.
That's Anderson with an A?
Hey, how about I double check for you?
That'd be great.
You're still not on the list.
You better check again.
Not on the list. You're not getting in this building.
Well, my name's on the building.
Hey, there you are. We need you inside for a sound check, so let's
He's
go.
not on the list.
Cool.
All right.
Hello, and welcome to this Enterprise Mobility and Security Deep Dive. You know, it's early 2017. It's been about 12 months since we did this last deep dive, and we thought we needed to do another one because we have enabled and delivered so much innovation. You know, one thing great about working in an environment where we're working in cloud services and working in enterprise mobility is that architecture enables us to deliver things to you at a rate faster than ever before. Now, why is this important to you? You know, we're all living in a world right now where the cloud and mobility is causing every organization, every business, and every industry to face disruption. These trends are forcing all of us to come to terms with new competition, new ways to do business, and we have to look for partners that are continually delivering innovation that really empower your employees, your partners, to do what they need to do and to do it fast. So what we're going to cover today is the innovation that we've done across Windows and Office 365 and the Enterprise Mobility and Security solution, and how we've pulled all this end-to-end integration and innovation into one comprehensive solution that we call Secure Productive Enterprise that really enables you to deliver this incredibly rich working environment for your users that they love and you as IT trust. You know, a couple of years ago, as we were defining our strategy in enterprise mobility and security, we took a comprehensive view to the market, and we knew that there were going to be certain categories that were going to converge that were thought about separately. And so we thought about how identity and management and security, data protection and productivity would all come together to deliver that working experience that is loved by users and trusted by IT. So over the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to cover the core scenarios of what we've built. We're going to talk about managed mobile productivity and delivering that experience based on Office that really your users are looking for. We're going to talk about identity-driven security. You know, more than 65% of all the reported security breaches eventually trace back to somebody's identity being compromised. And we're going to talk about the comprehensive nature of what we've built across Windows and Office and Enterprise Mobility and Security. And you know, this comprehensive vision, this comprehensive solution is really important. You know, attackers are looking for ways to get into you, and if they find seams, that's where they come in. And so a comprehensive solution that is all working together to help protect your organization is what you really need to have. And it's resonating. You know, we see customers moving to this solution as quickly as they can. Just to kind of give you a little bit of data on this, if you take a look at the size of Enterprise Mobility and Security, it now has more than 40,000 unique customers. You know, that's more than 2.5 times the size of AirWatch and more than 3 times the size of Mobile Iron. And just to give you a view on identity protection, you know, there are more than 85 million monthly active users of Office 365. Just shy of 84 million of them use the Microsoft solution to manage and synchronize all their identities up into the cloud. What that means is just a little over a 1% of all of the monthly active users of Office 365 use competing identity protection solutions. EMS is the solution that you need to empower your users to be productive how, where, and when they want, and give them that rich, engaging experience. You know, over the next few minutes, we're going to cover a ton of detail. You're going to see a lot of demos. But you also are going to have this table of contents where if you want to go specifically to one section, maybe it's your area of specialty, you can get there quickly and watch that section that is most relevant to you. You know, the thing every user wants to do is they just want to be productive. They want to have the kind of rich capabilities that they have in their personal life, in their business life, and they just want it to work, and they don't want to have any roadblocks in their way. So we talk about managed mobile productivity. Managed mobile productivity is all about delivering everything your users need in a customized, personalized way on any device. Your users just should be able to go pick up any device in the world, authenticate, and after we verified who they are, everything they need to do their job should just be delivered to them. Let's actually see what it looks like in action. Let's get a demo equipment here. This isn't an iPad.
Sorry.
All right, so let's take a look at some of the things that we've done here to really make it easier for your users. And the first thing we're going to start with here is just how your users from a self-service experience can get all the applications that they need. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to go into the Manage Browser. So this is an EMS browser that allows you to manage and have all of your corporate browsing contained within one browser. And I come in here and I can go into My Apps. When I go into My Apps, I get this personalized experience that is aware of the device that I'm working on, and it delivers down to me all the applications that I need to get my job done. These can be SaaS apps, and incidentally, we actually managed to have it integrated with more than 3,000 of the cloud apps in the world. I can get web apps. I can get native apps that are coming from the store. I can get apps that have been built by your company that are then being sideloaded and in, but I get it all in one place, and it literally is just a couple of touches, and I can provision any application that I need to get my job done. Notice here I'm going to go into Salesforce, and what I want you to notice here is just how beautiful that single sign-on experience is. One of the core values of EMS is we have done the integration work, again, with more than 3,000 cloud apps to deliver to you that single sign-on experience so this is easy and fluid for your users. Now, as we talk about passwords, one of the most interesting things is passwords still account for more than 20% of the help desk calls. One of the most commonly used capabilities of EMS is the self-service password reset. Right here you can see how easy it is for me as a user to go in, and without having to call the help desk, without having to call IT, I can go out and I can reset my password. Many organizations are able to pay for EMS just with the self-service password reset value. One of the least known capabilities of EMS is what we call groups. And what this allows you to do is you can go out and create custom groups and add the individuals into those groups that you want to collaborate with. It also gives you the ability to go and join groups, and it's all about making it a self-service experience so users can share and collaborate with the people that they want to in an effortless way. These are all capabilities in EMS in a seamless way delivered down to your users everything they need to do to get their job done on any device. You know, we talk about managed mobile productivity. And at the core of what we're talking about here is delivering that work experience that your users love and that you trust. There's a number of challenges doing this. The experience has to be seamless. Your users want that unmistakably Office experience across all of their devices. And you know what? We believe in productivity without compromises on all devices. So what we've done here at Microsoft over the past couple of years is we've been engineering the EMS solution to work with Office 365 in a way that is able to guide the user. They feel empowered, they feel like they can get their job done, but the user is guided to keep the corporate data secure and protected. And at the same time, we also know that our applications, the Office mobile apps, are used in people's personal lives and their business lives. And so we had to figure out that way to protect the company data, but at the same time, when the user's working in a personal document, we want to protect the user's privacy and stay out of that. So let's just take a look at this experience. And I think as you see the experience itself, you'll see how we have focused on both the end user and IT. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into Word. Okay, I'm Word on an iPad. And the first thing I want to call your attention to here is I can open documents from 5 different places. OneDrive for Business, OneDrive, SharePoint, Dropbox, and from the iPad. Now, one of the things we had to figure out was we had to be able to identify when the user's in a corporate document to automatically apply data protection, but when the user's in a personal document, stay out of it. And we do it based on identity. And you're going to see throughout this deep dive, identity is at the core of everything we do. So the way we do it is when a user goes and opens a corporate document or a place that requires their corporate credentials to get access to, we automatically apply data protection to it. So I'm going to go open up this document from OneDrive for Business. And because I opened it from a place that required my corporate username and password, as the document opens, it's automatically applying data protection. Now, if I go try to save that to a non-approved location, like Dropbox, you can see the experience here. The user is guided in a very seamless way to keep the corporate documents in corporate locations. Okay? Now, if I go and I save it into OneDrive for Business, I can save it, but we help the user and we guide the user to keep the corporate documents secure. Now, users expect to be able to copy and paste and share data across applications. It's been a fundamental part of Office, since the beginning. So let me show you some of the innovations we've done here as well. I'm going to go into Word here, and I'm going to copy a paragraph. Now, let's go over into Outlook. Inside of Outlook, I'm going to go and I'm going to create a corporate email. I'm in my corporate email account right now. I'm going to go and I'm going to paste that, and paste works just exactly the way you would expect it to work, and I'm able to share corporate data across corporate applications. But if I do that exact same thing, and this time I'm in my personal email, When I go to paste, look what happens. Again, the user is guided to keep the company data secure, and in this case, the paste option doesn't appear. One of the things that we've learned over the years here as we've built this is building an experience that is loved by users and trusted by IT is actually really hard. To do both of those, you have to engineer the solution from the ground up with the end user in mind and IT in mind. This is work that we have done across EMS and Office 365, and this is very unique capabilities, and this is the kind of experience your users want. Now, I've shown you this with the Microsoft applications, but this level of control, this level of data protection applies to our partners as well as to your own internal applications. So first of all, I'm going to go in here and show you a similar demo. This time I'm going to bring up Adobe. Now notice as it loads it says Adobe for Intune. Adobe has actually taken the MAM controls of EMS and embedded that into their application. So now this can behave just like all the other applications, and we can treat it as a corporate app. So now I'm going to go take that exact same paragraph that I took from Word, and you can see here I can now paste that into Acrobat. Okay, so third parties are embracing our MAM controls and embedding that into their applications as well. We also have an SDK and a wrapper that allows you to take all of your own applications that you are developing, EMS enable that so that they can participate fully in this secure and data protection environment. Now we've shown you data protection on iOS. Let's show you some of the innovation we've done in Windows 10 with what we call Windows Information Protection. This is a native capability that comes in Windows 10 that EMS is integrated with and manages. So first what you're looking at here is I'm going to go open a document in Word. And again, we've talked about the importance of identity. Look at the column right there that says file ownership. When I open this particular document, because it is a corporate document, look, it's associated with my corporate identity. As the document opens, again, data protection is automatically going to be applied. So it opens up into Word, and again, because it is a corporate document, it's going to apply that data protection to it. I'm going to go and select a paragraph, copy that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Twitter. Now I'm going to go into Twitter, and when I try to paste this in, notice what happens here. When I go to paste, it pops up this dialog and it says, hey, if this is personal content, you need to actually change it to personal content. If it's corporate content, you shouldn't paste it into Twitter. The beauty of this is we empower the user to make decisions. So in this case, if this was personal content, I could say change it to personal. It would actually log it for audit purposes, but the user is empowered to do what they need to do in their personal life and in their business life, and that's the importance of this multi-user capability when you talk about mobile application management and the controls. These controls we just showed you inside of the Office mobile applications are all about helping and guiding the user to take care of and protect company data. Our view on this is different than others in the industry. We actually believe that if you're going to try to protect data, the ultimate way to do that is to have data become self-protecting. So another one of the innovations in enterprise mobility and security is the ability for us to actually store in the document itself the privileges and the identities of the individuals who have the rights to access a file. Now, one of the challenges is how do you help guide users to classify data appropriately? It's an age-old problem. And so what I want to show you now is some of the innovation that we've done inside of EMS to guide the user and help them classify, and even in cases, auto-classify data to make sure that we protect those company assets. And to do that, I'm going to switch to a Surface. So here I am on a Surface, and I'm in Word. Now, one of the innovations that we've done here is we actually give the user the ability for them to be able to self-classify the data. Who knows better than the user, the person who's actually creating the content, what the classification should be. So in this case right here, you can see that I'm working in this document. It currently is not set to have any kind of controls on it. But this is a legal document. I want to go set this to the legal department only. I want it to be a document that can only be viewed by the legal department. I can go set that. And just that simple task right there now has embedded into the file itself that only the legal department at my company can open that file. You can take a look here. It's now put a watermark on that. You can see the footer. Now, if I were to actually go out and share this file with anybody, unless they were part of the legal department, they could not access the file. Now, this idea of self-classification or the user classifying the data, sometimes the users forget. So we also have the ability here to also go out and have it be auto-classified. So here I am now in Excel, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go paste in some credit card numbers. Now, once I've pasted those credit card numbers in, when I go to save, the rules that have been set up by the IT professional say that if there are credit card numbers, I automatically want to classify this as confidential. And you see that's what's happened. but we also want to empower the users. So say that this was a personal budget, not a corporate budget. The user could actually come in and override that policy and say, hey, this is actually a personal document. The user is still empowered. The user is in control of the data, but it's all about guiding the user to do the right thing. Now, even taking this further with some of the Office integration, now let's say I went out and tried to share that file. Just the action of attaching that file to an email, you can see here that Office, when it detects that I'm trying to send this to an external individual, it comes up and gives me this tech tip that says, really, do you want to do this? This is a confidential document that you're sharing with somebody outside of the company. And you can see here that, in fact, when I remove that document, that tip is taken away. And so you see all of this integration that we've done here to where we guide the user to classify the data. We can auto-classify that data. Those rights that are stored in the file, that file becomes self-protecting. And then in the case where you try to go share this with people outside of the organization, again, we're guiding the user to take care of the company assets. Very unique capabilities to this combination of enterprise mobility and security and Office 365. All right, one last thing I want to show you in terms of Azure information protection. You know, kind of the holy grail of document protection is the ability to actually see who's opened a file, who's attempted to open it, where it's been blocked, and where in the world they were. We deliver that here with Azure Information Protection. So what I'm going to show you now is this tracking portal where you can actually go in and any document that you've shared that is protected with Azure Information Protection, look at what you can see here. First of all, I can see all the users that have tried to open this file. I can see if they were successful or unsuccessful, and I can really quickly do a scan on that and see if I recognize those names. It's interesting, there's this individual here that's been trying to open up the document. Looks like he's tried to open it 9 times. I want to go learn more about him. So I can go take a look and I can see a timeline of when the documents were opened, you know, by day. Green is successful, orange is unsuccessful. I can actually go get a map view of this as well. So this gives me a view worldwide, and I can actually now drill in and see exactly where in the world this particular individual was when he was trying to open the document. Now, of course, we've protected that document and the user's not being able to see it. But if for any reason I think that I need to revoke access, literally, it's just a couple of touches, a couple of clicks, and no one can access that document anywhere in the world ever again. This is what we mean with self-protecting documents. This is unique to Azure Information Protection and EMS. All right, so managed mobile productivity. It's all about enabling your users to do their best work on any device, anywhere in the world. Users want to have that unmistakable Office experience, and they understand the need to protect the data. We've engineered Office 365 and EMS to be used together to deliver this great, wonderful experience. Again, loved by users, trusted by IT. Let's talk about identity, and specifically identity-driven security. We believe identity by far is the most important and foundational aspect of your enterprise mobility strategy. And the reason we believe that is we know that more than 65% of all of the data breaches that we all read about eventually trace back to somebody's username and password being stolen or compromised. And so we've been working on how we help you identify these accounts that may have been compromised, and how we help you ensure that the users that are accessing your corporate data are who they say they are. So let's actually take a look at how this works in action. And let me show you these concepts of conditional access. So I've got an iPad here. Now the concept here is being able to define policies on what you require in order to approve access to corporate data and corporate applications. You as an IT organization need to be able to define policies that say, here's what I require in terms of device, in terms of application, and have that enforced in real time when your user makes an attempt to access the corporate resources. Let's take a look at this in the context of email. Now, the conditional access policy that I have here for this demo is that the user requires Outlook in order to get access to corporate email. So the first thing you'll notice here is as I go and attempt to access email from the Inbox email app on an iOS device, all that's in my inbox is a single email. That email says and is going to instruct your user that, hey, you know, Outlook is required and you need to be using Outlook to access corporate email. Now, if I flip over into Outlook here, you can see all my corporate email is flowing. And one of the nice parts about this is all my corporate email now is completely separated from my personal email. That's really nice from a corporate perspective in case you need to be able to wipe the data. You can make sure that you wipe corporate data without touching the personal data. But let me show you some of the integration work that we've done here. You know, our vision on iOS and on Android is for Outlook to give it that same experience, that same rich experience that users have been using on Windows for decades. So the integration of calendaring, the integration of meetings, and look at how well this has been integrated. Right here in Outlook, I can go with a single touch. I click on that link, I'm automatically signed into Skype for Business. The Skype for Business meeting launches, and I get this incredible experience where all the things that I need from a business perspective to collaborate and be productive is all integrated. You know, Outlook is the highest rated email app for iOS and for Android. Your users are going to love the fact that everything is together in one place in that Outlook app. Again, just like they've used on Windows for decades. So you've seen what this looks like from the end user perspective. Let me show you some of the work now that we've done as we brought together these different areas to give you this integrated experience to define conditional access. And let me move over to a Windows device. Okay. So here I'm on my Surface, and what you're looking at now is the new integrated EMS console. This is one of the things I'm actually most excited about, what we've worked on here, because this is where you can actually see our vision of where identity protection and device management and application management all come together in one integrated experience. So let me kind of walk you through this. First of all, I'm going to go show you the conditional access capabilities. Right here I can go and I can set my conditional access policy. So let's go take a look at one of them. Now the first thing you're going to see here is as I go out and build these conditional access policies, I can associate it with all users, I can have it with different users. You know, you may choose, for example, to have more strict conditional access policy for your high value targets. I can go and then define which applications I'm going to apply this to. And again, you can apply this to cloud apps, you can apply this to apps that are running inside of your data centers that we actually have the ability for you to expose out. But you can build these conditional access policies for all the applications that your users need to have access to. Now here's the power. When I take a look at the conditions, look at what we have done here. We now give you the ability to define conditional access policies first based on the risk of the identity, the configuration of the device, what application is being used, as well as the network location. This is something unique to EMS. Nothing else in the world gives you the ability to define conditional access policies across all of these capabilities. Now, as we talk about identity protection, I want to help you understand one of the things that we have built that I think is one of the most incredible things that I've ever had a chance to work on, because it delivers value in helping you secure and protect your company in ways that we've never been able to do in the past. And we call this the Intelligent Security Graph. The Intelligent Security Graph is one place where Microsoft now is sending all the signal and all the telemetry from the 200 plus services that we operate around the globe. Let me just help you understand kind of the context of this. Every month, we authenticate over 350 billion authentications. Every authentication sends back telemetry to us. Who the user is, where they're at, the device they're working on, and then characteristics about the device. We can then take that information, and if we see, for example, a user working in a place that is not their normal work experience, we can then take action to make sure the user's who they say they are. You know, we scan more than 200 billion emails every single month. We see the malicious URLs. We see the phishing attacks. And everything that we learn globally, we send back into this Intelligent Security Graph and put it to work for you. All up, we have more than 200 services, and every one of them sends back telemetry every second of every minute of the day. We now have got a data set that we're able to put to work for you to help you protect your organization that is unlike anything else in the world. I would argue that this data set has more data in it that can be put to work to help you protect your company, protect enterprises, than any data set in the world. Now let me give you one specific example that I think, to me, is just an incredible example of value of the data, and it has to do with identity protection. In the Intelligent Security Graph, every single identity has a risk score associated with it. And what we do is we watch and monitor how every identity is used. And if we see things that are out of the ordinary or suspicious, we move the risk score up. What you're able to then do is take action and define policy based upon the risk score that we have built and identified to either allow or block access to your corporate resources. So for example, say that we see a user authenticate and use a service from New York, and then an hour later log in London. We know that's impossible, so we know that there is something that is suspicious. And we automatically raise that risk score up. Well, what you can do now is in this experience, you can set a conditional access policy that says, if I see Microsoft say an identity as high risk, I want to automatically take action like you see right here of I want to challenge the user with the multi-factor authentication, or I want to force them to change their password. You know, getting this right is critical because if you're going to implement things like multi-factor authentication, you only want to challenge the user when you think that there is something wrong because they tire and they get fatigued if they're constantly being challenged. So let me show you how it looks for the end user. So what I'm looking at right here is an experience where you can actually see multi-factor authentication in action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to try to authenticate from two different browsers. On the left-hand side here, you see a standard browser. On the right-hand side, you see a Tor browser. And you can see here, this traffic is being routed throughout Europe to basically try to hide where I'm authenticating from. On the left-hand side, you can see I was automatically signed in. On the right-hand side, what happened as soon as we saw that that user was in a suspicious browser and trying to hide its IP address, it automatically triggered a multi-factor authentication. Now, in this case, what's happening is the user is getting a phone call. And so, you know, here on an iPhone, I get a phone call. It asks me for a PIN. If a user is able to enter their PIN, they're seamlessly given access to the experience. But if they cannot, we block the attack. So multi-factor authentication should be one of your primary guards to help you do what we call protect at the front door, which is verifying the user is who they say they are. But it has to be done in a way that has intelligence behind it and only challenges the user with the multi-factor authentication when there is something out of the ordinary. That's what we have built, and is very unique again in the market. That is one of the core parts of enterprise mobility and how we've integrated EMS with Office 365 and all the applications you want to give access to. You know, throughout this, we've been talking about the move to the cloud and how you take control and manage data and applications as it moves to the cloud. Well, one of the new things in the enterprise mobility and security solution is our Kasmir Cloud App Security Broker. And what this allows you to do is get a view of all the cloud apps that your users are using, bring them under control, and then identify if your users are using them in a way that would actually cause you, for example, to be non-compliant. But we give you a security view now into all the cloud apps your users are using. So let's actually take a look at it. So you're looking at here at the Cloud App Security Administrator Portal. And the first thing to point out here is we first give you a view of all the cloud apps that we've discovered your users are using. In this case, we see that we've discovered 552 apps. You know, for an enterprise organization, that number is not that atypical. It's amazing how many cloud applications users are using. In fact, 80% of users tell us in research that they actually bring in personal applications and unsanctioned cloud apps to get their job done. So we give you this dashboard, and then look at what we've done for you. We actually give you a view now of every one of the cloud apps being used with metadata, for example, the security score. So here you can see that I'm going to go take a look at this particular application, and it has a low security score, but I want to understand why. So I go take a look at this, and it actually now gives me a view of all the security controls and all the compliance or the regulatory compliance rules that it's also been certified with. And you can see here in this case, this service has very few security controls and hasn't been certified with any of the common certifications. That's why this gets a low security score. We've actually done this metadata and this mapping for more than 13,000 cloud apps. You know, it's remarkable how often I'll find an organization is trying to go out and do this on their own. Let us do it for you. Now, what's important here, it's good to get the view of all the cloud apps that are in use. But what you really want to do is investigate how those cloud apps are being used to see, for example, if any confidential data is being put up into the cloud. So we like to go to this Investigate tab, and I'm going to go do a query here, and I'm going to say I want to go take a look at all cloud apps, and I want to take a look at any files that are publicly accessible, meaning they don't require any kind of a username or password to get access to it. And what I want to point out here is we actually show you there are two files that we automatically identify that are confidential files that have been stored up into the cloud. And I actually want to pull to your attention, if you take a look at the far right here where it says file type, that is actually an integrated scenario with the Azure Information Protection where you could actually do queries based upon the tags or the auto classification that EMS has done. But for the first time now, I as an IT professional can actually see all of the files that I should be concerned about that my users have put up into the cloud. Okay, now that's great, but I even want to take a step further. What I want to go do now is I want to go see if any of these files that have been put up would actually cause me to be non-compliant. So I can now go take a look at the controls that I've built. And here you can see I've built a set of PCI controls, and as I go and click into this, it actually now will come back and show me all of the files that have been, again, copied up into the cloud that would cause me to be non-compliant with this policy. And I can see here that there are 3 of them. If I go take a look in any one of these files, it's going to give me information such as when the file was put up into the cloud, who put it up into the cloud. Again, you can see over on the right-hand side here that better together scenario with Azure information and the auto classification and labeling capabilities. This is incredible because now I, as an IT professional, I can bring all the cloud apps my users are using under management. I can actually see how they're using it, and I can see if they're using it in a way that would cause me to have security concerns or to be non-compliant. Now, one other really cool capability that we've built into this, our solution, is we actually are again, using the intelligent security graph and watching for these anomalies. And you can see here that we've detected that this identity for this particular user has been used on a risky IP address. You know, a bunch of the world's garbage comes from a finite number of IP addresses. And so as we see in the intelligent security graph, threats, attacks, spam, we record the IP addresses they're coming from. And if we see any traffic coming into your organization or to the services that your users are using, and even more specifically, your identity is being used on one of those, we can flag that for you to take action on. Again, this concept of identity-driven security, bringing awareness to all of your applications. As we finalize this section, and we talk about the value of identity-driven security, you have to assume that you've been breached. You have to assume that you've been breached. You know, the attackers are getting more sophisticated, they look for places to attack, and they are relentless. And so you have to have tools like this that help you identify those places where you have an identity being used in a suspicious way and then block the attack. Again, the enterprise mobility and security solution is unique in our ability to do this. So let me help you understand a little bit more about how using the intelligent security graph, we're able to take all of the knowledge, all the learning that Microsoft has to help you understand security breaches and security risks. You know, we all get breached. In fact, we encourage you to assume breach. And when it happens, there's a couple of core questions you have to be able to answer. What is the attack? How did it get in? How did it spread? Who did it impact? And what's the risk to my organization and to my customers? Now let me walk you through some of the ways that we have now taken all of this knowledge together, put it together in the intelligent security graph to help you answer those questions. So first of all, I'm going to start in Windows Defender. And here you can see that I have one high security issue that I need to go investigate. As I click into that, I see that this is something called NeuroBlazer, and using the knowledge from Windows Defender, I can see that NeuroBlaze has actually downloaded 4 files onto some devices in my company. One of these is this file called SysDebugger. I want to go learn more about that, okay? And so I can see that this file itself has actually been called different things in different places. Now, one of the first things that we do here is we actually go and this file gets run in what we call our detonation chamber. So what happens in the detonation chamber is the file actually executes and we can see exactly everything that file is doing. And look at what it's doing here. It's establishing communication with an external IP address. It's starting to install things on my device. This is a classical kind of an attack, and we're able to see exactly what this file has been doing. I can scan down here and I can see more about it. Okay, so I can take a look and see that this particular device, which is Liz Bean's PC, has been impacted by this. So I go take a look at this, I can scan down in, and I can actually see all the things that have been happening on Liz's PC, and I can see that this particular file was brought down via Outlook. Okay, so now I'm getting more information about how it came in. Now I want to go take a look inside of Office 365 to learn more about how the file came in and if it's been sent to anybody else. So right here, I automatically link into what's called Office Advanced Threat Protection, and I'm able to do this because of the integration that we've done in the Intelligent Security Graph. And what I can see here immediately is this particular attack has been sent against 3 individuals. And I can see here that first of all, we saw it delivered to Liz Bean. We then saw that it was a problem. We actually blocked access to this to Yolanda and Roger. So again, you're taking a look at action that was identified at an attack in Windows Defender. We then notified Office 365, and Office 365 took action to make sure that the attack didn't spread. But I want to go learn more about it now. So again, I dive now into, in this case, I'm looking at Roger's PC, and I can take a look here what's been happening on Roger's PC. And one thing that's very strange is Liz's identity has been authenticating to Roger's PC. Well, why is that? Why would Liz's identity be authenticating on Roger's PC? So I keep going deeper on this. So now I'm able to drill in using the enterprise mobility and security capabilities, and I can actually now see exactly what her identity has been doing. And what you see here is Elizabeth's identity is currently trying to remotely execute code on another device. So look at what we've now brought to your knowledge. We can help you understand how an attack came in, how it spread, who potentially was impacted, but we can give you that comprehensive view because we have integrated all of the knowledge, security, and telemetry from Windows Defender, Office 365, and Enterprise Mobility and Security. How do you get all of this? That is through what we call the Secure Productive Enterprise offering. Many of you already have an enterprise agreement with us. Secure Productive Enterprise is just the cloud version of that, and it gives you access to all of these incredible assets. The last thing I want to end on here is just the need to have a comprehensive solution. We've walked you through over the last several minutes identity management and identity protection, mobile device management, mobile application management, data protection, protecting all your cloud apps. We do all of that in enterprise mobility and security, and we do it in an integrated way that you just don't get other places. Many of you may have deployed competitors over the past couple of years, and you know what? You probably made the right decision when you made that decision 2 or 3 years ago. State of the art back then was these independent solutions that were working, in a very specific area, addressing a very specific need. I can guarantee you that the attackers that you're trying to protect against are looking for seams. And if you have multiple solutions that are acting and operating completely independent of each other, you have seams. With Enterprise Mobility and Security and Office 365 and Windows 10, you have an engineered solution that has been built and engineered to give you a comprehensive way to think about enterprise mobility and security in a way that's working together and eliminates those seams. So as you use enterprise mobility and security, you are more secure. We also do it at a far lower cost. It's amazing to me how often I'll walk into an organization and they've deployed, an MDM solution and an identity protection solution and a data protection solution, and the list goes on and on. Every one of those is a subscription or it's an on-prem service that you have to build and maintain, and it's cost. It's remarkable how often as organizations look at enterprise mobility and security, they can take out 60, 70% of their costs because they have an integrated suite, an integrated set of capabilities at one price. My advice to you is look at what your needs are. Look at how you deliver that environment to your users that they love and you trust. As you look at what is available and you look at what we bring to you as we've integrated Office 365 and Enterprise Mobility and Security and all the aspects of Enterprise Mobility and Security, you will find that that gives you the absolute best solution across all your devices that your users want to work on. And again, our vision here is to enable you to deliver that empowering environment that is loved by users and trusted by IT. We look forward to working with you on this. We have resources around the globe that can help you get deployed. One of the most interesting things that we've set up is what we call Fast Track. The Fast Track program is all about working with you and with a partner, if that's the way you want to do it, to help you get deployed in using Enterprise Mobility and Security and Office 365. You can go to this URL and very quickly you can get engaged with a set of engineers that are around the globe, and we can help understand what your scenarios are, what your needs are, help you build that deployment plan, and help you get deployed in using all these amazing capabilities. It's been a tremendous time of innovation. There is tremendous opportunity for those organizations that really lean into this digital disruption. The cloud and mobility presents opportunities to all of us that we've only dreamed about in the past. It also presents opportunities to our competition and, quite honestly, to attackers. You need that comprehensive capabilities that is working for you 24/7, empowering your users, but protecting company assets. You can tell we're really excited about EMS and the work that we have done. We think that we have built and engineered a solution that empowers your users and gives you the kind of protection and security that you require. If you want to learn more about EMS or you want to keep up on the constant updates, just go to Microsoft.com/EMS. Thank you for the opportunity to work with you, and make sure that your users are empowered and secure.